Hey everybody, it's Randi and Janelle Live. I'm Randi.
And I'm Janelle.
Welcome.
Hi, welcome. Welcome. Um, so I don't know if everybody knows, we really don't talk about what we used to do before now that we're famous on Randi and Janelle Live, but right, talking it into existence. But my other career is I'm a realtor. So Randi and I both thought that given especially the situation we're going into spring, and normally this time of year, spring, summer, the housing market is booming, people are making plans to move during this time, all those kind of things. We thought that it would be great to kind of talk about what the housing market looks like right now and kind of what you need to be aware of given our current uh,
Situation.
situation. Our
So,
current staycation.
yeah, staycation. We haven't used that word in a while. We thought we were all
I haven't.
like happy and joy filled and excited about the staycation, and notice we haven't used that word very much.
Yeah, because I think we're kind of over the staycation. Like it's
We're like, oh, that lasted a lot longer than I was thinking.
well, when you
Exciting.
go on a vacation and you're like, that was awesome, but I can't wait to get back home and get my own house and lay in my own bed. Like you're kind of over it. I think we're kind of at the point of our staycation that we're kind of over it.
Kind
We're
of
ready
right.
to go back to home goods.
I know. Yeah. Anyways. So this is going to be a lot of you, Janelle. I'm going to be
Mhm.
asking you questions and talking through this discussion because of the situation we're in. So many people have questions, and I know there's some questions that have come up just in my conversations with people. So maybe you can help our friends and people out there who maybe are looking to buy or sell a home. Maybe you can help answer some of them, maybe
Yeah.
not, but some of them.
Yeah.
I know that a neighbor of mine was looking to put her house up, and just the whole process now of what you have to do. Is it okay for realtors to come to the house? What's the protocol? Do you wear a mask? Do you what's the protocol, right? So
Right.
are realtors going to houses right now? And again, friends, we are in California.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're in California. So maybe what applies to us in our state, we're in Northern Cali, doesn't apply to you.
Right.
So realtors are still going to houses, but it is very limited. So we are deemed an essential business. So it does mean that legally we can still do transactions, buy and sell, stuff like that. But they are encouraging us as much as we can to do things virtually, do things obviously e-sign and all that kind of stuff. So if somebody or if you watching this is thinking about selling your home, usually the first step is we do a meeting like this. We do a Zoom and talk to you and find out your goals and stuff like that, instead of in the olden days, like 4 months ago. we,
COVID.
okay, COVID.
2 months ago.
We normally would come to your house and sit down with you. So a lot of it is just done virtually. And even I could sit down over Zoom and do a tour of your house, but it would be a virtual tour. You would be showing me your house via your phone, Facebook, or not Facebook, but FaceTime or something like that, so that I can kind of help give advice.
Okay,
So
so some
very
people
different.
said that you can only buy a home 100% virtual now. Is that true? I think
Yeah,
it's
that's not
not true.
true. That's not
Yeah.
true. They're putting it out there, obviously, but we want you to see the house. It's a huge investment and probably the biggest investment you'll do in your life. And I personally do not believe you should be putting down $500,000 or more on something that you have not seen in person. But it has changed because you used to be able to say, okay, here's my list of 6 to 8 houses I'm interested. They're real close together. Let's go see them all and check them either in or out. And now we are trying to do everything we can to either keep it in or keep it out. So instead of 6 to 8 houses, you're maybe going to go tour 1 or 2 They're your very top one or two, and then decide from there. So,
Okay.
but I would not recommend buying a house just sight unseen. There's things like smells and everything else that you just can't tell by pictures.
That is so important to me. If you can't get rid of it, like with, paint or new flooring or whatever,
yes.
that's a deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
I don't know, radar smell.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you feel like right now is a good time to buy or sell, or is it a little kind of a wait and see kind of a thing?
It's crazy, and every day is changing, really. I mean, and for all you guys watching this, the advice that even I give today, next week, and my advice may be a little different just because our times are changing so fast. But the fact is, when this thing started, a lot of people either put their listing on hold, pulled their house off the market, or said, I'm going to push it out. I'm not going to sell right now. I'm going to sell, later this year or whatever. So the amount of houses that are on the market right now is actually very small. Our pool is usually bigger. So that means that a lot of homes are actually still getting multiple offers in our area because there just aren't as many homes. So from a seller's perspective, that is awesome because you're still getting, right now, prices haven't really decreased. So you're still getting full priced offers, multiple offers, stuff like that. And it may sound a little scary as a buyer because you're like, oh my gosh. But the fact is the buyer pool has also shrunk as well. So you don't have the same amount of competition as you used to have, let's say even last summer with the multiple offers. You just had a huge amount of competition. The pools have just really shrunk down. But if you don't have to buy or sell right now, I would say, maybe it's a good time to just kind of ease into it a little bit. Maybe take the time to prep your house. If your house isn't prepped to sell, something like that, take this time while we are sheltering in place and getting your house ready to sell so that we can still hopefully get you top dollar when you're ready.
Yeah.
But the market is moving. It's not stagnant. It is moving. People are buying.
Yeah, I do see in this neighborhood houses popping up. It seems like the warmer it's getting and the farther away from the initial shutdown, it seems like more and more starting to move. And I see sold signs going up too. And some of them are happening within the first day and first week. So it feels like they're moving fairly quickly. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's why it's super important to price it right, because you don't, in a market like this, we don't want your house sitting 30 days or more. Like, we want to list it, sell it, so that, because we don't know what the future holds. We don't know what the future holds for housing. We don't know what the future holds for loans. So we want to get the transaction done.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you were wanting to sell your house, let's say I wanted to sell my house. I don't, by the way. But
do you want to sell?
No. Let's say that we wanted to. How would we show it?
So we can't do open houses right now. Okay. The old school open houses is gone, and it's probably going to be gone for a while. So right now, the method I use is a virtual open house. So one thing we do is we actually have people that now do 3D images, 3D walkthroughs of the home, stuff like that, so that hopefully you can see a lot more than just the standard wide angle camera. You can really get a feel. But then also a lot of agents out there are also doing Saturday at 2:00. I'm going to be at the house from 2 to 4. You can't come to the house. It's not a normal open house, but you could log on to, let's say, Facebook and be like, can I see the bedroom a little bit clearer? Stuff like that. So it's kind of a virtual open house. Or the third option is a lot of agents are previewing homes for clients. They're going in, doing FaceTime, something like that, walking through the house with the client on the phone so that the client can then say, nah, that one's out, or, yes, I want to take it one step further, but that's only one person in the home, the agent versus a family or something like that.
So what happens if it's a home that I want to see in person? Is that something
Mm-hmm.
that can happen or not yet?
Yes, so it totally can happen. A lot of people, though, when they're selling their home, are having stricter guidelines. Like you have to be a pre-approved before you see the home,
Okay.
stuff like that. It is up to the seller whether or not they require a mask and gloves to enter the home. Stuff like that is a case by case basis. And if you're looking to sell, I will walk through that with you on what the options are. But uh, definitely you have to be further along in your process than what we used to be able to do. But it's a good thing, because if you're selling your home, that you know that the people that are coming to look are not only qualified, they're serious, because nobody is
really
out
weeds them
just
out.
it really weeds them out. So no, you're not just showing your home to everybody that clicked on it online is like, oh, let's go get into that home. Like people looking are serious. So it really is maximizing your efforts and your showing efforts for sure during this time.
Well, that's a good thing.
It's a great thing. It's a great thing.
You can't really do an open house anymore because you said in like the olden days, we're not doing that anymore. So,
like back in 2019.
2019, or even back in February of 2020. Do you do an open house? Do you have to do a virtual open house?
You don't have to. You don't have to, but the more exposure you can get your home out there, the more you can get it on Facebook, get it on the internet, get people to see it, it's good. You want that. You want all the things. And really, that's the thing actually that most people don't like about selling their home. They don't like people, oh, you want to see the house in a half hour? Okay, let me throw everything in.
For dinner.
We're about to exactly. Like people don't like that. And so in a way, it's kind of taken that out of the equation, because we're not doing a lot of the last minute just showings. A lot of it is pre-planned, and on top of that, I used to advise people don't get inspections. Let whoever is buying the house do all the inspections, and now I have changed my tune, and I advise most of my clients to do some basic inspections so that all of that stuff is already provided online before they even come to your house, so they know what repairs are needed. They know if there's any dry rot or things that need to be fixed or whatever. So you're just really shrinking that hopefully possibility of people going, yeah, no, I didn't realize that. They're informed once they actually get to your house.
So there is a lot of prep work that's happening on the front end. So they are super qualified buyers if they happen to step into your home.
If they go into your home. Yeah. They're super qualified buyers.
This might be the new way.
I think it will. I think we'll morph maybe a little bit more once we come out of this. But there are so many things, especially we're doing virtual signings now with your earnest money deposit. You used to be able to take it in personally, or you could wire it. Now there is no personal drop off. It's all wiring. There's so much that has actually we've been thrown into it, but it's actually streamlining the process.
That's super awesome, because I know that some of it is a tedious process for both the realtor and the seller or buyer. So anything we can do to streamline anything is awesome.
Exactly.
So you talked about doing some of the repairs that you would doing it prior now. Here's something that my parents were looking to sell their house, and my dad was itching to paint the outside of the house. And I was like, why? Because it didn't need it. It's in good shape. There's just a few pieces of trim that needed touch up or whatever. I'm like, Would you recommend that? My personal response was, what if that's an expense that's not necessary, number one, and it's not an awful color, number two, by the way. It wasn't like a red house or a blue house or something weird.
Right.
But two, what if the owner is just going to turn around and paint it a different color? Like, I don't know.
It's weird because I actually see owners more getting attached to the inside house color, not as much the outside. If it's a color that you're like, oh, yeah, I mean, like where we used to live, there was a Smurf blue house down the street. Like, yes, paint your house, do the investment, because it will sell faster, it'll sell for more money, all those kind of stuff. If the house needs to be painted, I would probably, case by case, but I'd probably recommend painting it, because people think dollars. When they see a house that needs to be painted, they think, oh, that's a lot of money. But if it doesn't need to be painted and it's a nice color, I would invest your money in other places, unless you just had money to burn and you're like, whatever. I would recommend investing your money in other areas.
What about a roof?
A roof is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
A roof is a big one. So I would recommend, if you're selling your home, to try and get a 2-year roof cert. If you can get a company in it, and they'll come in for free and analyze your roof, and if it's in good enough shape to get it a 2-year roof cert, they can do all of that for free. I would do whatever it takes to get that 2-year roof cert. If it's a roof that they come in and they're like, we can't certify this, you're lucky you have a roof. Just know that you need to adjust the price somehow. The price is either probably going to get adjusted, when you go into contract, when you go into escrow and they're asking for repairs, the price of the roof is probably going to get adjusted from there. Or you need to knock it down off of comps that their roof is good, because we're talking, $15,000, $20,000, sometimes more for a roof. And so it's a huge nut. So you need to talk with your realtor to decide what is the best option for you, to fix the roof then, or to knock it off the price. But you're gonna have to adjust some way.
Okay. So here's one of my favorite things about house selling, and you'll appreciate this because we've done this many times. We've sold a few houses between the two of us. I am not a realtor, by the way. I've just sold. Staging your home, one of my favorite things to do, and favorite things to do with friends. You and I have done it over the years, and it can make or break something, make or break a sale. And so the whole virtual thing that you're talking about happening now, you need it to present itself absolutely the best possible way, right? So even I can give some tips on staging. So you and I have had such great fun doing this, but you need to think about, let me tell you some things that are awful, and we could do a whole segment on staging your house. But when the toilet seat is up in the background and your bathroom counter has crap all over it, it doesn't show very well. It's not nice.
No.
When you look at your kitchen counter and the dishes are all in the sink and you've got pots and pans sitting all out like a normal day. No, that's not a good picture for your presenting of your house to the world on the internet. You know what I mean? So
yes.
I know that you said earlier, get your house in preparation for going on the market, if that's what you need to do right now. So little things like decluttering and purging and taking out as much out of the room as you can is going to help in the presentation of this new virtual open house that we're in. And along the same lines, I was told by this lady, she was like, imagine you're the buyer and imagine sitting down at your dinner table for dinner. Like, what would you want it to look like? Like, you have to be able to get in the minds of the buyer and say, can they see their family here? And so what would that look like? Probably not stuff all over the place. And you know what I mean? Because stuff all over the place and just not the attention to detail sometimes translate to not the attention to details of taking care of the home.
People 100% go, you didn't take care of the home in this way in organization, so you must not have taken care of maintenance. And you could have been meticulous on maintenance, but they take it and put it that way. But they also do it in the reverse. You could have not been meticulous on maintenance, but your house is clean, organized, pristine. People's eyes don't necessarily usually key into those little repairs, and that's where a home inspection will help with that. But how your house looks and is kept very much turns people's minds to whether they're like, this is a great house, or this is, a day away from falling down.
Yeah. So there's simple things that you can do. And I know you've done segments on staging before, but we'll definitely do a segment on Randi Janelle.
We definitely should.
My favorite things to do. And we had such great success.
It is.
Every time we've done it. But like simple things like replace the burnt out light bulbs.
I was going to say light bulbs. That's a huge one. Light bulbs is the number one thing I see. Either different colored light bulbs, like it's not just make sure you have all the light bulbs. It's you don't want the outdoor white light and then the soft white and then the yellow white all over your vanity. You walk into the bathroom and your eye goes to the lights as opposed to the bathroom. Yeah. Stuff like that. So, I always say the closest. Go ahead. I was going to say the closest you can get to model home like, the better. Yeah. And if you need to, usually your agent can give you tips on that. I know that for your clients, but just imagine yourself, take yourself out of your own life and imagine you looking at your home for the first time and be a little bit critical of like, oh yeah, this, that, and the other thing. So like I said, we'll do a segment on that, but using this time to purge, which I know you see people on Facebook, they're like, I have cleaned every drawer, every cabinet, everything. And unfortunately I have not. But you haven't?
I haven't had the time to do every drawer, everything.
I haven't done. But what I've noticed is I've slowed down because nothing's open to give it to. Like my garage is packed with stuff that I need to get rid of and there's nowhere to
I know. And I don't know what the fix is for that. And when they open, I don't know what the policies or procedures or anything are going to be. Right. Like on the side, we've got all our recycling on the side. I'm like, is there a recycling center anywhere open? Anywhere? It's just piling.
I didn't even think of recycling. There's nowhere to take that.
I don't know. I need to look into it more. I'm not really sure. It's weird, the things that you start noticing when you're like, oh, didn't think about that or didn't think about this. So, I would say then what you're saying to me is that real estate is not completely shut down. You guys were deemed essential. You just had to change, just like every other business, how you do things. And it sounds like it's becoming more efficient, and I'm sure that's appreciated. So what would be the first steps if I wanted to sell my home?
So I would say if you want to sell your home, the very first thing you do is contact an agent. If you already have an agent that you're working with, awesome. If not, it's time to start putting some feelers out, maybe making some phone calls. Even if you don't live in Northern California, I would be totally happy to talk with you and give you some directions or referral, get you going in the right direction. But if you are somebody that's like, I think maybe we should sell our house, call an agent. Don't wait till you have your 100% all ducks in a row, because there's stuff that talking it through you can help avoid, or costs maybe that are savings because you think, oh, we need to do this repair. And after I talk to you, I'm like, no, you don't waste your money on that, stuff like that. Yeah. So when you have that thought, I think maybe we want to sell, even if it's, I think maybe we want to sell next summer. All it takes is a phone call. And then we could say, okay, we'll regroup and talk again in 6 months, something like that. But when you have that thought, start reaching out.
And what about, sorry, blanking out.
It's
I was
okay.
just thinking of all the homes that we used to drive by and drive by and drive by. Do you recommend people driving by the neighborhoods and stuff before they
Yes.
reach out, or doing that? Is that okay to drive in your
Yeah,
car?
it's totally okay to drive in the car. And actually, I would always advise my buyers in the past, before we see the home, if they have time, to drive by it, because there's certain things, we're getting better with the virtual tours, but there's a lot of times that you couldn't tell in the past that home looks gorgeous, and then you get to the home and there's 6 cars on, blocks in front of the driveway of the home next door, and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was there, because the little snapshot was so beautiful. Now we're doing a lot of aerial videos, stuff like that, so you can see a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, even if you're just trying to get an idea of neighborhoods, stuff like that, go drive around, get a feel for what the houses look like, what the neighborhood looks like. If you have young kids, or their young kids out front riding their bikes, or stuff like that, definitely
Get a vibe.
is helpful.
Get a vibe for
Yeah.
the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you feel like there's talk in the real estate world right now of the market going up or down, or kind of stabilized right now? And I know it's changing almost daily, but what's the feel right now, do you feel like?
It's very split. It's very split. Actually, they did a survey last week, so I haven't heard this week, but last week there was a survey, and 40% of the agents thought that the market was going to increase, 40% thought it's going to decrease, and 20% thought it's going to stay the same. So I think the consensus is that it's probably not going to stay the same. I really don't know.
We don't know which way.
We don't know. We don't know. And with that said, though, we never really truly know, right? I mean, if I knew, I would probably be rich, because I would either be going and selling properties or buying up properties. Exactly. I'd be like, you call me and I am going to let you know what's going to happen to the real estate market in the next month. So all we have is, what has happened over, let's say, the last month, and what is projected over the next month. And right now, prices are holding firm. Buyers are still buying and selling. We do still have multiple offers on properties, so that's all good signs. But any of that can change. I mean, if we're, let's say, in this shelter in place for another 2 months, that could change very quickly.
Okay. Well, maybe we need to do an update in a couple weeks from now. Maybe we'll pack back on, or in our conversations do a little update. Okay, so this is a free tip for you all, and it has nothing to do with real estate or realtors or anything like that. It might be time for you to change your shade of makeup, because as I'm watching us, I don't match. The tan from walking doesn't match the face. So that's a hint for you all out there. If you're starting to tan because we've been outside on our walks, doing our outside exercise, you might need to change your shade of foundation. Okay, there you go.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, except you are getting tan and I am not.
Oh, well,
I can't still do very light. No.
I'm gardening a lot now. It's so fun. I'm gardening. And so, I've got all my amazing protective face lotions and great makeup and stuff. And I put stuff on my body too, but I just tan. And then I'm like, oh, change that shade.
Change that shade.
Shade.
You get dark.
You do. So this was awesome. This was helpful because it really is. Some people are like, oh, there's nothing happening. Realtors can't do anything or whatever. And initially that probably was what happened, because there was a lockdown. And it's like, we don't know what is happening.
Yeah. In the beginning we weren't,
Yeah. So good tips, super good tips. Like Janelle said, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, give her a call, whether you're in the area or not. She can give you advice or direct you to somebody. I don't know. I don't think I just like to go like this, boop, and pick an
Yes.
agent. I feel like I would like to get to know that. And I totally say that. And that's hilarious because that's how I picked my first agent when we got our
That's so
first
funny. I was going to say your first agent, you're like, oh, there's her number.
there's
Let me call.
yeah, I liked her picture or something. That's so funny. I was young. We were young, and it worked out amazing. And you tend to develop great relationships with your agents too. But any questions or concerns or things that were confusing or we didn't go over or whatever, you can shoot Janelle a message, and she'll be sure to answer or steer you in the right way. So
for sure. Good talk. Awesome. All right. Well, you have a great day, and we'll talk soon.
I will. Go do those virtual tours.
Right. Woohoo. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.